Can Gareth Southgate get it right, James Benge? Can he start the right 11? Because if I remember when he led England to the 2018 World Cup, it took a 91st minute winner from Harry Kane to beat Tunisia. So maybe they struggle. Maybe there's too much pressure on this. For whatever reason, I feel like England's a little bit more relaxed. And of course, it's great to see you, Benge. How you doing?
It's good to be back, guys. It's good to be back to sow the good vibes about England and the bad vibes about the USMNT.
Oh, there's no bad vibes right now.
Hey, I do want to say before,
give me 11 minutes.
You're a great guy, Ben. You're a great guy, but for the next month or so, you're pretty questionable in my book. I just going to say you're pretty questionable.
8 days, isn't it, until you lot are out of the World Cup?
Oh,
I mean, I think with England, it maybe has helped that the last few months since Euro 2020 have sort of seen expectations trickle down. As you say, Jimmy, the best 11, I think he knows what his best 11 is. I think the problem is maybe that a lot of people don't like the idea of Harry Maguire at left centre-back. I mean, to an extent, John Stones is fine. They don't like the back three.
It looks like...
And it may well be that starts against Iran.
Did we lose James?
No, he's there.
He's here.
I'm still there.
Sorry, it was me.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah, don't like the idea of playing a back three against teams they expect to beat. Those are and kind of often think that the team's a bit handbrakey, a bit slow and a bit underwhelming. But it was at Euro 2020. It was back three. It wasn't always the prettiest. It was at the World Cup. It kind of gets results. So I'm feeling very optimistic about England. Very optimistic indeed.
Is it the most optimistic you've been, or is it just sort of being a buildup? Because we're seeing, and it's not really a golden generation as much as it is a new foundation, what I think is for the future of kind of the reversing of the club over country era in England. But is this a peaking moment? Because at a certain point, the pressure is going to be on, right? They're so close. They're right there. Is this the one where it's sort of kind of do or die?
I mean, there's times on their side. It feels a bit like this could be the start of, those early years of the Belgian national team. And suddenly those years go really quickly.
Right.
But I look at the sort of talent in attacking areas, the Fodens, the Sakas, players of that, Bellingham in particular. And this doesn't have to be, this doesn't have to be the tournament where it all clicks. I think it could be. I think with a bit of luck in terms of the path. I mean, obviously, I'm convinced England are going to top the group, but I think then if the rest of the tour breaks right, it could be quite an easy path, especially if Denmark do you a favour against France. So
you're just building yourself a nice little easy pathway.
I've got it right the way.
Senegal's going to be a walk in the park, and France,
calling in the favors. Calling in the favors.
Money's out. It's fine.
Easy peasy. Yeah, I feel great about it.
I'm glad you feel great because it set the bars high, the expectations high. The fans of the U.S., most of them, they're optimistic, but I wouldn't say they're confident. For England, all the pressure's on England. You get to the World Cup semifinals in 2018. You have a great Euros. Now coming into this one, the experience is there. The results heading into it haven't been there. I'd say, if anything, they've started to dip a little bit. So I guess normally you'd say, we're going to use this as a positivity because our heads were in the clouds. So now we're set back to being a hungry, determined English team to finally bring the cup home. But I would say finishing first in this group, it's going to be a difficult road because I think Senegal, if they do get through and they have Sadio Mane back, that's a different Senegal team. You'd play France after that if they were able to beat Mexico or Poland, whoever would come out of Group C. Not easy. It is not easy. So if England do well, who is that player that has to be at his best for England to have this success that you're hoping for?
I mean, it's a bit of a boring and obvious answer, but I think it's probably Harry Kane, isn't it? I think that's what makes you optimistic about England. The way they play football is, we'll keep the game to 5 shots for the opposition, 12 shots for us, but Harry Kane will take 3 or 4 of them, and therefore we'll probably win. And that is the kind of difference. That's what happened at the World Cup. That's what happened a little bit at the Euros, and it's why actually, as the tournament went on, England got better because Kane got fitter. He got in the groove. I mean, I think if you want England to be a bit better, if you really want them to take the steps forward, then it becomes about that Rice and Bellingham midfield. When England play good teams, and actually, frankly, even if when they're going to play US and Wales, they're going to need to have a little bit of guile, something that can break down, midfielders and defenses that can keep the ball for extended periods and keep the pressure while they're doing that. It's not just constantly going backwards to the back three. Rice and Bellingham can do that.
Sorry, Benj. I actually wanted to get into just the back four while you're kind of talking about players and lines of the field, because you say a back three, you only have one left back when they'll bench Ben Chilwell, right? So you just have Luke Shaw as an option, which I think, well, I mean, you're riding or dying with him at this point.
Yep.
You got center backs that not a lot of people are that excited about. You don't have Reece James. I mean, you're missing some key elements back there. Trent Alexander-Arnold's awesome going forward, terrible going defensively. Is that a concern for you that there are some vulnerabilities that Kyle Walker might not be 100% fit? I don't know. It seems like a concern, and I wonder about this team. Also, I kind of want you to get your thoughts before Heath asks the next question about who he would start next to Kane. Would it be Saka, Sterling, Foden, Mount? Obviously Grealish. I mean, who's your ideal starting 11?
So I would have Saka and Foden flanking Mount. I think then you get them both in their best positions, and Sterling has gone off the boil a little bit. With the defense, I mean, you're right. I think Trippier would probably function as the reserve left back in case of emergency. But and as great as he's been, as you know, Jimmy, for Newcastle, I'm not excited about moving him across the flank. I'm also worried about, I was having this conversation with Mike Lahoud on House of Champions. I think we have to remember that we all say Man United make players look bad. So maybe we need to give Harry Maguire a little bit of a break. And remember how good he is on the left side of a back three for England when he's had minutes and had a run of games for the national team. So I'm optimistic, and I think Walker will be a huge loss. Losing Walker and James, that right flank looks so formidable with them. Ben White, who I think is going to be the one that comes in on the right of the back three, he will be absolutely fine. But like we were saying, if anything happens to Shaw, then you might lose Trippier from the right flank, and everything becomes a little bit unbalanced, even with Alexander-Arnold. So it's tight, and I think that's the area of the pitch that England are going to need some luck. But that's the one spot I'm very nervous about. But I don't see anyone in the group other than Gareth Bale that I'm afraid will hurt that defense.
Well, as we know, Benji, there's no big.
Did you forget to say Christian Pulisic? I didn't hear Pulisic in that.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No. Actually, Brendan Aronson's good.
He's saying he's good. Oh my goodness! I'm going to throw my microphone right now. James Benge. There's no way that the England national team can roll out to any big tournament without there being some sort of bubbling controversies. So there has to be, like, what is the press saying? What are the kind of fractures that could exist? Is there any drama going into this World Cup with this team? It can't just be. It's just not possible that the England national team goes into a World Cup with no drama. Everybody's kind of holding hands, jumping in circles. What is the speculation, or what are the issues? Come on.
I mean, obviously you're right, Heath. And I mean, as we kind of had Jack Grealish at Euro 2020 as the cause celeb, the player that had to be played and that Southgate was wasting, I am certain we're going to get the same about James Maddison. If it's a gritty 1-0 or a 0-0 against Iran, people will be saying, where's Maddison? Why is he not playing? Especially if it's Maddison against the US. And I think that kind of reflects the bigger questions, which are about Southgate and the feeling that he is maybe holding this team back. I don't agree with it. I think he's a great leader for the team and for the country. This England national team job, it's a figurehead, kind of like being the King of England. And the next step down is being the manager of the English national team. And I think he is a source of divisiveness and division, where he used to be, as you guys remember, the one that they were serenading with those dreadful chants of football's coming home and Southgate make us whole again and all that. That, I think, is the challenge. Can he
Sounds like pressure. Sounds like pressure.
They have all the pressure in the world.
If he can't recapture that mood, you've been on twitter.com. It is a tough place to be after an England game or during an England game. Almost as tough as watching an England game. So I think that's the real challenge, is Southgate has to get the fans back on side, because even from afar, they kind of make for this irresistible force that can really propel the team, but also it can make it hellish for England players.
Where will you be watching the games?
From behind my sofa.
You're not going anywhere to watch these games. You're focused.
Laser focused. I mean, also working. But I feel like, for English people, there is an awful lot of stress. I mean, not least because every time I've come on this podcast, I've predicted they beat the US 3-0. Anytime I talk to a Welsh person. Yeah, I do. Honestly, I think the US are the team I'm
You can't
least
come on
scared
the
of.
show twice, Benge, and disrespect us like this.
There's not a
If
player in that
it's
squad
gonna
that
hurt
scares
if it
me.
goes the opposite way. That's
Oh,
all I'm saying.
and you'll have to get me on the pod if I.
Oh,
if it does go
we
wrong.
will. Oh, we
Oh,
will.
don't worry. We'll have
Oh,
you
we
on
will.
speed dial.
Dialing, drunk dialing, whatever we need to do, Benge, to get you on.
It's gonna be grim.
Is going to be amazing.